What's up, y'all? Appreciate you guys tuning in to my first ever tutorial. This is completely out of my element, but we're gonna have fun. We're gonna make it cool. Today, I'm gonna show you how I turn this clip of Kyler Murray into this. Not much left to be said. Let's get to it. So go ahead and get your in and outs and then drag your clip down to the timeline. Now I shot this on the Sony a7 III at 120 frames, but what the a7 III does is it actually spits out the clip at 30 frames per second. So seeing that 120 frames per second is actually 4 times slower than 30 frames, we're gonna right click and then reduce the speed to 25%. Make sure to select optical flow for your frame interpolation for the best results. After that, we're gonna scale the clip up to 125 to perfectly fill in that 4x5 Instagram window that we're working with. Next step, we're gonna make a duplicate of our source clip to send to After Effects. In case the comp doesn't work out, you go in a different direction, you always know you have your source clip to fall back on. Now we're just gonna right click, scroll up, and replace with After Effects composition. Now that we're in After Effects, we're gonna do 2 things that are gonna make this clip: stabilize motion and adding a radial blur. We're gonna stabilize motion first. That was one of the trends that took off after this Beats by Dre commercial, stabilizing the motion on the headphones. So under our tracker tab on the right, we're gonna go to stabilize motion. One big thing that's helped me when I utilize this effect is under options, you go down to adapt feature and change that to stop tracking. What it'll do is After Effects will actually stop trying to guess where your tracking point is and allow you to readjust if it's unsure where it's supposed to go from there. Now the key with utilizing the tracker is to find a point that has contrast, something that After Effects can easily read to track. For me, I'm going to utilize the gray on the face mask with the white on the helmet. The crosshairs in a small box is the area that you're tracking, with the larger box being the area that After Effects is going to search to find your track point. Now that we're set with the track point, go ahead and click Analyze Forward and let After Effects do the work. Now that we got our keyframes, all that's left is to hit apply to apply it to our clip. So as you can see, now that our keyframes are applied to our clip, the motion is adhering to Kyler's helmet where we had our track point. Now we just got to scale up our clip to make sure we don't have any black frames in our comp. Now that we've scaled it up, our stabilized motion effect is done and we can move on to adding a radial blur. We're going to add the blur by utilizing an adjustment layer. So go to Layer, New, down to Adjustment Layer. Now in your effects panel, go ahead and type in Radial Blur and drag CC Radial Blur over onto your adjustment layer. Now we're going to change our type to Fading Zoom. Truthfully, any of the zooms will work for this effect. It's really all preference. I'm going to go with Fading Zoom because I like the way it looked the best. From there, increase your value so we have a blur effect that we can then mask out via our adjustment layer. We don't want it to go too high because we don't want it to look ultra fake, but do whatever works for you. It's all preference at this point. We'll be able to adjust it around our subject via a mask on our adjustment layer. So we're going to go up to the ellipse tool and then draw a mask around Kyler, and then go down to your timeline and select invert. After that, we'll click on our clip, select our tracker, and what we're going to do there is we're going to copy and paste the keyframes we got from our track onto our adjustment layer so it syncs up perfectly. So go down and click on tracker, copy, then click on adjustment layer and paste. Now that adjustment layer is fully in sync with the same keyframes we had from our track, and we don't have to animate the mask on our own. After your mask is in place, bump that feather up to your preference, and you can even go back to your blur options to increase or decrease the blur based on preference. And it's that simple. We've stabilized our motion, we've added the blur. All that's left is to go back to Premiere and add a color grade. Back in Premiere, we can disable our source clip because we don't need it. You can delete it if you want. I'm always paranoid, so I always leave it for whatever reason, just in case something happens. Now we're gonna go to our project bin, new item, adjustment layer, and drag our adjustment layer over. And from here, the grade is all preference. I feel like I'm a record on repeat, preference, 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 but it really is. Whatever you want this to look like in the end is up to you. For me, it's gonna be as simple as dropping my own LUTs on this. So we'll head into Lumetri Color, drop down to our Creative tab, and if you have LUTs, this will be the spot to go ahead and drop on your favorite LUT to complete the effect. Doing so many edits throughout the year, I've actually made my own LUTs so I can reference them whenever I need to throw them on a project. The one I'm going to utilize I called Game Look. It's one of the looks that I've used throughout the year. It's more of a warmer tone, got some film fade in there. It's contrasty, it's punchy. It's kind of become like my style, I guess you could say. But I have a whole bunch of different other ones and also some ones that I'm working on for the new season. A lot of you guys have asked about LUTs and presets. Who knows, maybe I can get a little pack going here down the line. After you add your grid or your LUT, the effect's done, man. You can add any other elements you want to spice it up, but for me, I just wanted to keep it simple, add a little bit of an element of post-production to it, and just have fun. There's no right or wrong here, just make it your own. And that's the end of the tutorial. I hope this helps somebody. I hope that this was actually useful to someone. Let me know what you think, if it should be longer, shorter, more informative, less informative. I'm very green to all of this, so any feedback is good feedback. That being said, it was a lot of fun to do this, man. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to watch this video, to watch this tutorial. Everybody always shows so much love, so much support, and it is greatly, greatly appreciated. And I hope, my one and only hope, is that this helps at least one person somewhere. And if it does, then I've done my job. Till next time.